G'day there guys, how's it going? Markee here, back at it again with another episode of r/AmITheA. Now with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, enjoy the content, and tell me who you think is the a-hole down below. Posted by user Furukawa Sanae. Titled, Would I be the a-hole if I humiliated this choir because of posts they made about me on social media? Some time ago, this choir made some rude posts about me on social media. These posts were all things that weren't true, and they were things that I would never do. They made me look like a hypocrite. They were in need for a fifth voice for their performance of Mozart's Leck mich am Arsch. A friend of mine told me that I would take the place of their fifth voice that left the choir without knowledge of the posts. I want to change up the music when I sing it on stage to humiliate them, and then say they told me to. Would I be the a-hole for doing this? Edit. Some people aren't properly getting the post, so here's a TLDR. TLDR. Choir puts up rude posts about me on social media. Friend told choir that I'd sub for their absent fifth voice. I want to screw up their performance. He probably needs to read that TLDR back. That's all I gotta say. You're the a-hole, and also an idiot. You would be the one who would be ridiculed, not them. Everyone sucks here. It's better to turn them down entirely than stoop down to their level. Don't ruin your reputation by being that annoying person who ruins performances. Everyone sucks here? I would say yes. A-holery begets a-holery. They were wrong for making rude posts about you on social media, but even so, you would be wrong for purposefully humiliating them on stage. I would not take part in that choir and keep these people away from you. You would be the a-hole. You have a clear choice here. You can keep your dignity and know that what they post about you on social media isn't true, or you can do something childish and petty and know that what they post about you after that is true. Besides, you're gonna say they told you to? That's your word against multiple people's words. You're going to look like an idiot. And for some reason there's an update to, would I be the a-hole if I humiliated this choir because of posts they made about me on social media? Yesterday I made a post asking if I would be the a-hole if I was to screw up this choir's performance. Today was the first rehearsal for the piece we're performing. When I got there, I talked with them about the posts they made about me. I gave them a description of how the posts were hurtful. I also told them that I would not substitute their fifth voice. After a 30-minute discussion, they apologized to me and agreed to take down the rude posts. They were also okay with the fact that I wouldn't participate. Thank you to everyone who responded to the post. Reddit man sees light, goes to light. Very nice. I'm glad you stood up for yourself and that it was handled maturely. Nice to know you solved this as adults. Good job. Now, not the a-hole. I looked into your previous post. You handled this situation well compared to what you wanted to do. As someone who does chorus, it's important that the choir acts as a collective unit that can work together. Here that is not possible, changes need to be made. Some food for thought. Don't let your anger cloud your judgment. You don't to create a terrible, irreversible action. Now that's some r/I had a stroke stuff right there. Posted by user Dan Bongino Great. Titled, Am I the a-hole for cold ghosting a girlfriend even when I made it clear that it wasn't an exclusive relationship and she decides to blur the line? Oh, that's... Cindy and I have dated for a few months. I try not to be exclusive as much as I can. I make it absolutely clear with any and all of my partners. I am a hedonist and enjoy keeping a roster of girls as long as I'm transparent about it. And yes, I'm in it mostly for the sex and intimacy and little else. I also make this absolutely clear. Cindy texts me past midnight a few days back. She's feeling upset at something and wants to cuddle. I've got a full day and am disinclined to say yes, but I've not had some action for nearly a week. I tell her that I'm okay for a cuddle night as long as we have sex first, or at least a nice long BJ. Jesus Christ, this man. She refuses, calls me a pig and sexist, and cuts the phone. I think nothing of it till the next morning when my phone is blowing up. Messages and texts telling me how she feels like I used her and that she's regretting knowing me, all over a simple request. She then crosses my red line where she threatens to find out my other girls and tell them how apparently I kicked her out when she was vulnerable. Note, none of this is true. I never even met her the whole week, and we only communicated through texts and phone calls. I blocked Cindy for 2 days to give her time to cool off. She emails me on my personal email that I had shared with her some time because of movie tickets or something. A long rant about how I emotionally used her, and how if she ever finds anyone else I'm seeing, she'll personally let them know what's up. All over a simple request from my end. I've cold blocked her even though we dated for 4+ months, during which it was almost purely NSA casual hanging out a couple of times a week at most. I'm not the a-hole, am I? You're the a-hole. Yes, you made clear everything about your relationship, and that is not the problem. The problem here is that she called you for emotional support, and you said you'll only give it to her for sex. First, it is clear that she does not want to screw, and asking her for it is insensitive as hell. Second, you're kinda stepping over your own boundaries by saying you do emotional stuff, but then you are gating it behind sex. You are not an a-hole because you don't want emotional commitments, you're an a-hole because you made her needs about you having sex. Just telling her you don't feel like coming over would have been okay. This is not. I see many people commenting here that I just should have said no. But here's the thing. I wouldn't mind her request if I got something. Oh, he's not learning. Wouldn't it be rude of me not to let her know she's welcome to stay over rather than just shut the door on her? I gave her a choice! ! But you're not letting her know she's welcome to stay over. You're letting her know that you're willing to use her bad state of mind to get sex out of her. Even if that is not your intention, that is what it sounds like. I mostly stand by what I meant. Oh, he's dying on this sword, guys. Her coming over meant listening to her, making room for her in the bed, maybe rearrange some moving plans, all for nothing? I was happy to have her around and do all this, because we've been hooking up for a while and she's no stranger. But I thought it would be nice to get something out of it. Oh my, that is not what you told her. You didn't tell her that she is welcome to stay and that you wouldn't mind having her over. You told her that you won't help her in a bad state unless she screws you first. That is exploitative. Everyone sucks here. She shouldn't be threatening you like that, but you totally set yourself up for this. Your plan of just using women for sex won't last long, as you're beginning to see. Is that what people would call victim blaming? And I'm not using women for everything. It's perfectly consensual relationships that I and the other women enjoy. I understand feelings come into play, but I try to be clear, upfront, transparent, and decisive like I was. Is that wrong? You can set up the whole sex first, long blowjobs, no feelings rules and regulations all you want, but you're in deep emotional territory where there are no guarantees, as you are seeing. You didn't answer my question whether that was wrong or not. I understand things aren't as straightforward as I'd like, through no fault of my own. But that really doesn't add much insight. I've discussed this with a friend of mine whose only response was envy. Oh, this guy's his head's so far up his ass. I hope your response isn't coming from a place of envy. Nothing you're doing is wrong. You're being very clear about your intentions. I am only trying to give you some foresight that this course of action does not last forever. Enjoy it while it does. Everyone sucks here. She's definitely gotten too attached to you despite knowing the situation, and that's completely on her. Plus, the whole final temper tantrum is just ridiculous, and while I don't for 1 second condone it, I can see why it happened. She contacted you in a moment of vulnerability when sex was probably the last thing on her mind, so even just saying, "no, sorry," would have been more sympathetic and reminded her that you were not the one to talk to. You have in fact made it clear that you only said yes because you hadn't had any in a while, so of course she would feel like a wank sock if you mentioned sexual favors. I might be changing my mind here. When you put it that way, it makes a little more sense. Lol, wank sock, I like that. But yeah, that can be kinda crappy. To be fair, I never said because I hadn't had any in a while. My god, there might be light at the end of this tunnel after all. And now, he posted an update on this one, guys. Hell yeah. It's a little painful for me to type this up. We're all a little vain, aren't we? And it takes some time to realize we did something wrong. I had a long phone call with Cindy. She confessed she was developing feelings for me. She was falling in love. Apparently, she had given a few hints, including planning a weekend getaway. I thought it would be an excuse to indulge in some naughty fun in a warmer place, but clearly, in hindsight, that was completely the wrong thing to take away. She admitted that her wanting to come over, her subsequent blow-up and everything else, was her being angry and psycho about this relationship not going anywhere. Dwelling upon all the responses yesterday, I realized it could have been interpreted that I was rude and cold and dismissing. I wasn't. I just wanted to keep things clear and transparent. But if Cindy were developing feelings for me, this was clearly a dick move to do, especially late at night in her state of being vulnerable. I think we have to part ways, and I'm happy she kept her emotions in check during the phone call. It's good for all of us to have closure. I won't be expecting someone to blow up my other interests, and she gets to close her chapter and hopefully move on. I told her on day one that this wasn't the life for me and she knows it. Period. I could be more polite, but I will not yield to the fact that my worldviews are somehow incorrect or immoral or worse. I lay out the cards and you play the game. Goes for every single girl I've been with. Cindy's out and isn't to contact me anymore, though I'll miss the fun we had in the sack. She was among the best. Oh my god! Which maybe clouded my judgment that night, in bed. Alas, the world keeps turning. A true novelist. Give this man a writing award. OP says, but I will not yield to the fact that my worldviews are somehow incorrect or immoral, or worse, I lay out the cards and you play the game. Still an a-hole. Whatever you do with your life, good luck. But you do come off as an empty-shelled walnut, mate. I hope for your sake that your behavior doesn't put you in a dangerous situation. And guys, if you ever wanted to have a deep dive into a narcissist's head, this is the post for it. Posted by user AmITheA John. Am I the a-hole for not wanting my fiance to go to dinner with her boss? I'm basically at the point of breaking off my relationship with my fiance because I'm so frustrated by this whole thing. I guess this question is among my last salvos to see if I'm being an a-hole and unreasonable, or if the problem is on her end. Been with my fiance for several years now. She recently graduated and got an amazing HR job with a pretty high profile, we get your DOI charges dropped type law firm. The guy who started the firm is known across as being an ambulance chaser, shyster, and scammer because, very frankly, he's trying to portray that in his commercials. Better call Saul. I've met him a couple times and in person. He's a little better, but I kind of feel like I needed a shower. It's probably still. I don't know what you're doing with stew in the shower, but invite me. It sounds tasty. So, right after New Year's, wife came home and announced that lawyer dude is taking the whole staff out to celebrate on January 20th because it was the firm's biggest year ever. This is the timeline as near as I can remember. January 5th, she tells me to keep January 20th open because significant others are invited. Cool, I can do that. January 8th, sorry, she was mistaken. It's just a work party. She tells me it's cool if I make other plans that night. No problem. January 13, she lets it slip. It's not really a party for the whole office, just for the people the boss thinks were part of the success. I'm starting to get a little what the fricky here. January 14th. Miraculously, all the people going to dinner with the boss are under the age of 30 and female. Now alarm bells are really going off. January 18th. The list is down to 2 people, my wife and another new attorney. So, if I'm hearing this correctly, the 2 people mainly responsible for this 20-year-old company's biggest year ever are both recent college grads, both female, and both around 25. Fiance says, "Aren't you proud of me?" Today, the big day, boss texts her at like 11 a.m. and says, "Hey, since this is supposed to be a celebration, don't drive. I'll send a car service for you." Fiance still doesn't smell anything fishy, so I ask her, just for my own edification, ask what he says if she tells him, "That's a great offer, but my fiance knows the restaurant and he can drive me." Boss replies back in seconds, "Sorry if I had to change restaurants at the last minute, I'll send the car." Why is the if in there? My fiance looks at me, apparently without the screeching submarine klaxon and Klieg lights that are going off in my head, and says, "See? It's all cool. I'll just take the car service." I'm freaking the hell out. I told her that she can't go. She called me a controlling a-hole. I told her that this whole thing has been shady as hell, and I relayed out the timeline I just posted above using my texts and emails from her as evidence. She said that me hoarding evidence like this is an example of how I'm a controlling a-hole, and she wants to go to dinner now more than ever. I told her I might be an a-hole, but I'm not stupid. She told me over and over again, he's married, he can't do anything that would affect his marriage, so you're being the stupid one. That leads me to believe that even she understands the larger implications that are at play here. She locked herself in our bedroom and hasn't come out for at least an hour. I don't know what to do, I can't beat the door down or yell at her, and I think if this is one of those situations where the shoe was on the other foot, she'd be freaking the hell out, and I'd see her reaction and just call it off. Am I the a-hole? I'm gonna read the edits before the comments because oh my god. Edit. It's 5:30 here, car service picked her up at 5:15. I guess it's up to fate now if I'm a controlling a-hole, or if she didn't see it, whatever is coming. Edit 2, she just got home and said only, I don't want to fudging talk about it, and she's back talking to who I assume is her sister. I'm defying my every desire to eavesdrop, so I don't know what happened. It's only 8:45, so I don't think anything super crazy happened. I'm just glad she's home. If more appropriate, I'll update again when I know more. Edit 3, sorry. This really doesn't pertain to AITA anymore, rather just people asking for an update. She gets to dinner, and it's just she, co-worker, and boss in a private dining room at a hotel. Boss says straight up he's banging the other girl and wants Fiance to join them. Has understanding with his wife and says he can do amazing things for Fiance. Fiance is pissed she didn't see this coming, but she's still pissed at me for being controlling. She's not happy at all and talking about breaking up. What? Sucks all around, but I'm relieved she's safe, just giving her some space for a while. Not the a-hole for being weirded out and concerned for your fiance's safety. Guy sounds like a sleazeball. However, you're the a-hole for saying she can't go. That is controlling behavior and she's a grown woman. You don't have the right to tell her what she can and cannot do. Don't blame you for being nervous, but there was a much better way to approach this. Yeah, I say let her learn from her own mistakes. She's either extremely naive and needs this wake-up call, or she knows exactly what this three-way date is and is planning on walking away, or not. Tell her to have fun, but make sure she knows you're worried about the situation and for her to keep her phone with her at all times and just be safe. Leaving her drink unattended, etc. She could call you, call a cab, call 911. She has options. So if you eventually update us saying some nonsense about how she says she didn't have a choice to do XYZ because she'd lose her job, kick her to the curb. But let it happen first. It will either happen now or 10 years from now. Which would you prefer? Lol, what? It's better for him to let her risk getting date-raped than being controlled by telling her not to go? You guys are wild. He wasn't telling her not to go, he was saying she can't go. I actually agree that he should have told her not to go, but I don't think he should have made it sound like he was forbidding to her to go. She ended up going regardless, so you're just arguing semantics at this point. By forbidding her to go, he was telling her that if she went, it would have negative repercussions on their relationship. But it was ultimately her choice whether she wanted to go or not. Turns out that his suspicions were correct. The creep wanted to have a threesome with her and one of her colleagues. So you can't even argue that his concerns were simply due to wanting to control her and/or jealousy. Not the a-hole. Your wife seems like she's just now realizing that the great job she thought she was doing was just her boss getting her in a position where he could screw her. This is a really, really, really crappy feeling. She thought she was doing amazing at her job, and she now has to deal with the fact that not only was it a lie, but that it took her by surprise. And part of her brain is whispering that you don't think she could possibly be smart and talented enough for any of this to happen. Be gentle with her. It's a pretty soul-sucking experience to find out someone you thought genuinely valued you was only around to use you. Agreed. Had an experience like this with a professor I looked up to like a father. I can't tell you how violated and betrayed I felt. I can't imagine having to deal with these feelings while having the person I love and trust the most on the side saying I told you so. Now is not the time to rub it in her face. This was a great take, honestly. I don't think I can really comment on this. I don't have enough experience in relationships or marriages, unfortunately. I just think this situation sucks all around, and I want to know what you guys think of this one down in the comments. But there is an update. Update. Am I the a-hole for not wanting my fiance to go to dinner with her boss? Crap hit the fan on Tuesday. Ooh, spicy. Judgment was essentially everyone sucks here, which I can accept because I should have never used the wording and phrase, you can't go to dinner with him, even though the situation was drowning in more red flags than Comintern. The Comintern May Day Parade. That is Communist International May Day Parade, if you guys didn't know that one, because I didn't. Fair enough. She didn't speak to me all day Monday, and the last words I heard from her was Sunday night after she got home as she slammed the door to our bedroom door saying, "You're still a controlling a-hole and we're breaking up." Ooh. Her nuclear bomb is always saying, "We're breaking up," whenever she doesn't have the upper hand in an argument. So I didn't make much of it, and in reality, I was just relieved that she was home, and apparently nothing bad happened at the dinner. So like I said, Monday she didn't say a word to me. I was only able to get into our bedroom to get some clothes, and I couched it again Monday night. Whatever, she was pissed, she was embarrassed that she didn't see it coming, she was angry at me. I figured I'd give her some space, so I did. Tuesday morning, I noticed she was getting ready for work. I couldn't keep my mouth shut anymore, and I incredulously asked her if she was really going back to that stupid job. She said, "Why wouldn't I?" I told her that because the bloody idiot of the company had done a month-long manipulation to get her into a threesome with his other little side piece. She said that I was a bloody idiot, and I was bloody flabbergasted. As she was stomping around the house, putting her shoes on, putting on her makeup and whatnot, I told her that if she shows up to that office today and doesn't quit or follow up with the state bar, he is going to know that she's okay with what happened, at least on the surface. Even if she doesn't have sex with him, he knows that she has a really high tolerance for his bullcrap, and he's going to keep working at her. I also told her that she has an MBA with a focus in HR. It shouldn't take a bloody redneck auto mechanic to tell her this crap. I own a foreign specialty auto repair facility with my uncle. Her last words to me were, "Yes, you bloody a-hole, I am the professional, you aren't," and slammed the door. So Tuesday, I had no idea what I was going to do. I knew in my heart I needed to end the relationship. Her situation with her boss notwithstanding, rather her method of fighting, name-calling, silent treatment, are just not acceptable. But I still wasn't sure. She got home Tuesday and was clearly rattled by something. She was still silent, but a sad silence, not an angry silence if that made sense. She absolutely would not tell me what was wrong, but she didn't lock herself in the room this time. She just sat, almost catatonic, on the couch, watching Big Bang Theory, bazinga! Which she, Penny, hates. My assumption, she screwed him. Her or both. She gave in to him. I have no proof of this, but after all the bullcrap, after the quick change in her behavior, it's the only thing I can think happened. In my head and heart, we are broken up. It's now just a matter of separating our crap, figure out what to do about the lease on our apartment, cancelling the small amount of wedding planning we have done, and oh yeah, telling her. She may be feeling the same way and be done with me too, which honestly may make this easier for everyone. My heart goes out to her because I do care about her, and if she did have sex with her boss under his bullcrap pretense, I imagine she feels like crap. But I tried to warn her. I saw it coming from a mile away. No, I didn't use the correct words in trying to warn her, and I take no pleasure in being right, but I did try. Thanks everyone. Still, everyone sucks here. Edits. It's 3:31 p.m. MST. She's home about 2.5 hours early. She said she wants to take a shower and talk after she's done. I really don't want to do another OP update, but I will update via AmITheA after we talk. Edits. Now about 5:30. This is locked, so I don't know if an edit gets seen or not. Figure I'll try since people seem invested in it. Obviously, this is so much past whether I'm an a-hole or not, and just into keeping people who wanted to know informed. For some people, I'm a victim. For others, I'm a victimizer. I asked for people's opinion, so I will try very hard to keep both in mind going forward. A sincere thank you for your input, good or bad. So, update. She got home at 3:30, was still pee, and told me not to ask her any questions until she got out of the shower and said she wanted to talk then. She usually gets home at 6 p.m. on the dot, so I knew something was up. I said that was fine, but like literally on pins and needles, until she came back out to our computer room where I was working. So about 4:15, she comes out with a towel wrapped around her hair and just one around her waist. In my head, I figure if she was really breaking up with me, she wouldn't let me see her boobs. Okay, I'm not going to read that. It wasn't a sexual gesture by any stretch, but it was also showing that she wasn't covering up around me. I took that as a good sign because I wasn't sure about breaking up with her, and at least we had options. So first of all, as nutty as I made her deservedly sound, she has never had compunctions about apologizing when she's wrong. So she said that she wanted to say that she was very sorry for all the things that she had said to me starting on Sunday. She was sorry for throwing her shoe at me, she was sorry for the silent treatment, and she was sorry for doubting my judgment. I told her that I appreciated it. She told me that she quit yesterday. I told her that I very much agreed with that. She said that yesterday she went into the office and the boss/owner was waiting for her in her office. This is important to mention, the law firm is an old converted historic house close to downtown. Most of the staff work in what used to be the main house. My fiance's office was literally the outdoor shed/garage. It's a very nice and comfortable conversion, but it's still separated from the main house. So, him sitting in her office means he had to go out in the backyard, find a key he doesn't usually have, unlock her space, and wait for her. On the first day back from a holiday. He told her that he wanted to make sure there were no misunderstandings from the night prior, and to make sure that all the doors weren't shut, or some such nonsense. She told me she told him that she was deeply upset by his proposal, and didn't know what she was going to do. I guess he told her that her value in the company could either go up or down, depending on how she decided to proceed. She said that she walked out on the spot and didn't go back to work. She spent the rest of the day with her sister, trying to figure out what she was going to do. That was yesterday, and I guess she still doesn't know. I guess she spent all day today looking for other jobs and sitting in her employment office of her MBA office and talking with her advisor. I asked her why she didn't just tell me any of this yesterday and why scream at me. She said she was sorry again, but she was still a little shell-shocked that she faced serious sexual harassment in her first job out of the gate, and honestly didn't even know what she wanted to say to me. I told her that the silent treatment really hurt, and it allowed my imagination to run wild. I of course didn't tell her what I said here in this OP. She again said she was sorry, and the way she acted throughout the entire event wasn't fair. I told her that I really do love her, but I hadn't slept in 2 nights. I am exhausted and hurt, and don't know what to do, so I'm going to stay at my uncle's house for at least a few nights to sleep, if nothing else. She said that was fine, and she'd wait as long as I wanted her to. I told her that I think we need some sort of counseling, so we learn how to better talk with each other. She agreed. So after that, I packed up a bag and am now at my uncle's house. She did give me a bare-chested hug and kiss on the cheek on my way out the door, which was pretty nice, and nice. But right now, I need some sleep. What I do know, 1, I want to stay with her. 2, I need to never use words like you can't go ever again. 3, I really do love her. 4, we are fine for money without her working. I am co-owner of an auto repair business with my uncle, and we have had a few great years. What I don't know, and didn't ask, yet at least, 1, what is she going to do about her boss? 2, how this affects her future employment. 3, that she will realize we are fine without her working, and she takes her time and finds a good job with a good boss. I'm sure there is a million other things I'm forgetting or questions that I'm not answering. I think the mods are sick of this thread, so it's locked. I'm newish to Reddit, so I don't know if you can see this. If you can respond, if it's dead, just don't know. But thanks for the help. And my god, that's where he ended it. Whenever I have update posts for Am I the A-Hole, I usually want them to be more story/narrative driven than purely Am I the A-Hole or not, which this post is like a testament to. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't think we really deserve to hear any more from that. That's more of a very personal territory. But I'm glad that they did resolve this situation. It seems like everything's going on the up and up for them. So if you enjoyed this one, tell me what you thought about it down in the comments. Who's the a-hole still? I mean, I don't think anyone's the a-hole anymore at the end of this besides the boss. And I'm just going to chuck you guys to outro Markee. Alright guys, that's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to tell me what you thought about it down in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel, also don't forget to subscribe. It would really help out with my channel growth. And also, a huge shout out to my channel patrons and members. I just love you guys and thank you for supporting me on this journey. If you guys are new to the channel and you'd like to support me, links are down below for the Patreon, or you can click the join button next to subscribe if you'd like to become a channel member. Alright guys, that's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.